our third set of 3 games in the final group, Group E of our regular set of up and downs. That was scary. The camera came into their faces.
Always the same thing.
That was so scary. I've seen girls in horror movies be afraid, but those girls, they thought they were gonna die.
Look at this. Fantasy with a 2-0, Flying with a 0-2, and everyone else in the group is currently tied. NesTea, Sander, Hawk, and Finale. The 4 of them tied for 2nd place.
Yep, and Fantasy with that lead wants to solidify it, of course. It's impossible for anyone else to take a perfect score in the group, as everyone else has lost at least 1 match. But we talked about this already. This is a group where a lot of players are really even, and so far the scores have not been like they have in the other groups. In fact, every other group we've had players take dominant leads early on, but in this group, only Fantasy.
And you know, I have to say that casual players in general in these up and downs are really struggling. Fantasy is the only player so far that has started, the only casual player that has started really, really well, is suddenly taking the top of the group, but Flying finds himself at the bottom, and if NesTea is now able to take him out, then the dream of getting into Codes right away is already gone. So this is really unfortunate for him. Fantasy is the one casual player that we might see in Codes next season with all those that are already there. Maybe he can pull it off, but now of course we are focusing a little bit on NesTea. He's the old school Zerg player. He's the icon of so many Zerg fans, and we'll see if he is able to defeat this Protoss opponent. Belcher Vestige is the map. LGIM's NesTea is playing against Wounding Stars Flying. We are live with the game, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for the GSL. The next match here at the Up and Downs is going live. NesTea versus Flying. Brought to you by Cowl and Wolf.
This guy to the bottom right for the team LGIM is referred to by many as the Messiah. He is
LGIM NesTea.
Listen up, intro people. Just because I said "is" at the end of the sentence doesn't mean you have to jump in with the intro.
That was good timing. Well, they were.
I guess they certainly were.
Top right now, we have the Protoss player. 0-2 in the group, starting for the Wounding Stars. It is
Wounding Stars Fly.
If he loses this, he's going to see his chances of getting straight into Codes fly away from him.
I saw that one coming.
I'm sorry.
One of us had to do it. You took one for the team there.
Yeah, I did it. But
I'm thankful for that.
I am always looking out for you.
On the other hand, you know, if I make a bad joke, I get away with it. I'm German.
It's true. I mean, like, I just say it's true. I'm like insulting your culture. I don't know.
Well, we are very efficient, but we apparently don't have a sense of humor, so I can get away with nearly everything.
Yeah, I guess so. If you want to go down that path of excuses.
Well, we have the.
Well, I was just gonna say, for me, I just say things, and if anyone tries to challenge me, I don't respond. That's how I like to go.
Anyone challenges you, getting all awkward.
You know, there's hardly anything that makes me feel awkward. I tweeted earlier I bought leggings.
Yeah, if a guy actually talks about hair the entire time, he has probably a very high tolerance.
It's true. I bought tights today, and they're really comfortable. I'm not cold on the legs anymore.
I so don't blame you. Korea is so cold. The only reason why I didn't buy any myself so far is because I know that I'm going to Germany on Sunday. And I know that there the weather is a lot better than in Korea, so I am still safe.
You know what else is awesome about having tights? Is that...
Not a lot.
No, there are some reasons.
Okay,
Listen.
You sure you want to go down that path now?
Yeah, actually here,
Okay.
I'll just list one. Whenever you need to suddenly become a vigilante and stop a crime, if you're wearing tights underneath, you're already dressed for the job. You know, old school superhero vigilante style. No?
Nah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I can see you as Robin.
Well,
you're definitely not a Batman. I'm sorry.
No,
Wolf,
I don't want to be Batman, actually. That guy gets lazy, old, he used to walk with a cane and stuff, and his 3-part series takes forever to finish. People keep remaking movies of him. Nah, I'll avoid the Batman.
Well, the Batman is not part of this clash that we have between those two titans here. NesTea starts to the bottom right as mentioned, and we have now the third base for him. So far, nothing out of the ordinary happened here. We have the normal opening for Flying, who's currently on 2 bases and just about to complete his core. So we'll soon see what exactly his build choice is, his tech choice. Most Protoss players on this map start things off with the Stargate. We've seen Immortal pushes, but the Stargate opening is much more common.
You notice that we've talked about the Immortal push so much, and it's come up. It won like the All-In of the Year award and all that stuff, but it's only really Parting who consistently used it over and over and over again. In fact, since the Blizzard Cup, we have not seen it even one time in the GSL. So I don't think that's what we're going to see from Flying either. But this is a tough map to hold a third on. People have really figured out how to make Stargates work, though.
And there it is. Stargate opening for him as expected. And let's see how NesTea is going to deal with it. The thing is that it's a little bit tougher for a Zerg player too to spread the creep between the natural and the third base. And you always want to have a good creep carpet to make sure that those queens get the extra speed. You need a few queens there to defend against those phoenixes, because if you just try to walk off creep, the phoenix are going to be really happy. They're going to be, alright, 3 queens, it's Christmas again.
Yeah. You know, Christmas is not coming again for a long time, so the Phoenix are going to be even happier than they would have if it happened in August, per se. Roach Warren goes down for NesTea. NesTea's not making any weird choices here. He's just playing this as normal as could be.
This is a very, very early Roach Warren, actually. This is a really early Roach Warren. Usually the players are trying to place the Roach Warren at 7:20.
Yeah, 7:20 or so.
Sometimes a little bit later. His is already done at 7:15.
Yeah, he placed it down around, I guess, 6:40. And this is, like you said, a pretty quick Roach Warren. Very safe. With the way he's open here, he's not doing an all-in. Overlord, unfortunately, is out of luck, which will further supply blocking. He has 4 on the way, so...
He knows about the Phoenix, though, and this is exactly what he needs to know. He is going into the first few Spore Crawlers. We have him now with the speed halfway done. He's going into Roaches. Zerg players sometimes decide to push out on this map and try to do damage with the Roaches. You can see that he's still continuing to build Roaches here.
You know, Roaches are also useful against players who follow this up with a Zealot heavy attack, like we've seen Genius do in the past with Voiders or Phoenixes.
Guess what Roaches are not useful against? Phoenixes. So that's a lot of gas that he spends now, and if he only gets this to have a presence on the map to just deal with the 4-gate gateway pressure that might follow this up, he will be able to safely throw everything back. But he could have also started his tech a little bit faster. Now you see him walking across the map with all these units. The problem for him is that Flying sends those gateway units down the left side of the map, so he completely misses them.
Yeah, and NesTea is supply blocked again, and as soon as he's done, he starts 13 drones. That means these Roaches he got across the map are going to be the only real attacking units he has, and once he sees these Zealots, he's going to freak out a little bit. He's got the Larva to make more units now that this Inject's hit, and he starts Roaches and some Zerglings immediately. He sends a few Roaches home. And with good micro here,
he's buying
shouldn't
time.
Lose too much, exactly.
Yeah. He's buying time now with this micro and just making sure that he's able to throw this back. But already the Roaches that NesTea sent over the map that across the top left are retreating, trying to make sure that this is not happening again, that there are not too many unit kills. But now the Phoenixes are heading towards the main base, warping in another round of units here on the high ground with a vision, and he is going straight for the main.
Surprisingly not warping in 1 sentry. If he had done that, he could have walled units out of the main base. He would have had not a lot of DPS to deal with the units that spawn in the main, but
he doesn't have
takes
enough
out the
gates.
Spore, or at least he tries to.
That's not working out too well for him. Now he has to fight with those Lings. One of the Phoenixes moved back, but the Queen is dead already, and those Zealots did a fair amount of damage to the Harvesters.
Yeah, in total he killed 3, but some of those Harvesters almost died. It could have been much better.
Yeah, he damaged a lot, and if he's able to sneak these Zealots that were just on screen in, unknown, then I feel NesTea is going to lose a lot of drones.
Flying is making Immortals now. He's transitioning. He may wait for a second round of Zealots before going for the attack so he can maybe snipe something. He may wait to see if he can see Roaches move out.
Here
he
come
goes
the Zealots.
There are Lings here to buy time, and the Roaches should be able to get into the main. They're a little bit occupied at the natural against these Phoenixes.
And the Zealots already annihilated all the Zerglings. Now he can focus on those drones. He's trying to run down the Queen, which is a bit of a mistake. I don't think that he really watches the main base. He's microing the rest of his army at this point.
Exactly. He still gets the Queen. Could have killed a lot more Harvesters, as you said. One being so low on hit points, still gets that Queen. He will get this Overlord as well. You know, NesTea has lost a lot here, but he still has dealt with this decently enough to where I would say that we're still on even footing in this game. The third base goes up, and we see that delayed Genius Void Ray coming out.
Yeah. The Void Ray is now on the production tab. NesTea is at 67 harvesters. He needs more. He completes his own Spire, starts the +1 attack upgrade right away, and goes into Corruptors. They will help him against the Phoenix and against the Void Ray. Also, a late transition for flying into Colossus will, of course, then face the anti-air units for NesTea. And there is the Robotics Bay for the Protoss player. The standard transition that you go for, and a very, very early Fleet Beacon.
Yeah, with the cancel on the Robotics Bay. A lot of indecisiveness. You saw in that first second when he went to make the Robotics 4 Bay, it was a Twilight Council. He stopped, then he made the Bay. We're going to lose another Queen here in the main, but then he cancels the Bay and goes for Fleet Beacon. And the Corruptors are already here, so we're seeing a really interesting build from Flying that we have seen in Pro League, we have seen in GSL.
Did he cancel the Fleet Beacon? Because I think he might have just spotted...
Alright, well, the trilogy is complete. He canceled the Fleet Beacon and goes into Twilight Council.
Yeah, cancels it and goes in. I feel that he... you know what I actually think that he saw? I think he saw the Spire. That's why he cancelled. And then was like, okay, if you go into your Mutalisk play, then I'm going for the range upgrade for the Phoenixes. Then he saw the Corruptors coming out. That's why he cancelled the Fleet Beacon. But now NesTea, after the initial Corruptors, is going straight into Mutalisks.
Poor Flying, man. He just can't make up his mind. It's like when you're trying to pick between two really, really similar items, like whether you want to have a black laptop or a white one, that's always the worst. What would you pick? Well, I think you would pick black.
I think the better analogy is if you want to pick between two really hot girls and then you try to decide and make up your mind, and in the end you get neither one because they both get bored.
That's the worst.
Yeah, and that's a little bit what he does here. He makes not a single one of those decisions is the right one.
I don't care how much that laptop costs, man. You actually just outdid me with your analogy there. Well, this Queen was vulnerable, but she had her Guardian Corruptors to protect her, so Flying was a bit too scared. The Mutas are spotted now, but Blink is almost done, and NesTea can't fight like this. He needs to actually use the Mutas to go for Harass, and I feel like Flying, even though he's down about 50 supply, has the much better competition. He catches these Corruptors. NesTea, what's going on in the booth?
Well, the problem is really that he has to deal with those Phoenixes somehow, but look at how many Mutalisks he has. He's going into additional 6. He's at 26 in a second, and this can...
No wall.
He can go for a base trade without a problem at all, and he can also go for this Mutalisk ball and then just one-shot Phoenixes, which is exactly what he does.
No
is
flying
losing
micro.
everything here. All of these Mutalisks, of his Phoenixes are gone.
Now,
this
Flying
is
makes
horrible for him.
A great choice here, but he needed to micro those Phoenixes a little bit better. Flying does what most people do not. He splits his Sentries and his Immortals to fight the Hatcheries and sends his Stalkers and his Phoenixes home. Yeah, but because he lost them all, now he's losing too many probes and his units are split. He's going to lose these Immortals because the Sentries are down.
Screwed. Exactly, they're completely screwed. The Zerglings run in, surround them, take them down. The Mutalisks are there too. These force fields, I'm not quite sure what he tried to accomplish with those, because even if he runs away, the Mutalisks are going to chase him down. 14 are still left for NesTea. He's at 140 supply. NesTea has all the cards in his hand now. The worker supply 48 against 72, and more units are dying for Flying.
And NesTea's favorite card is the base to the right side of the map, because Flying thinks that he's done a lot with this push. He thinks, okay, well, you lost some of your units when your attack. I still have 3 bases. Well, his Nexus is gone, but that's not the concern. He still has that 3rd Nexus up with the one that was a little bit less defended. And he thinks, okay, I killed NesTea's 4th, so we're going to reset here a little bit. Big concerns for Flying are scouting. Can he actually figure out what NesTea's going to do next? Is NesTea making more Mutas? He doesn't know. Is NesTea having another base? He also doesn't know that. So this is a very stressful situation for Flying, and he chooses to move out. He's doing the aggressive version of scouting. He sees the Mutas with his Observer. He has to react. It looks like he's just going to sack the base and go for a counterattack.
Going for a base trade against a Mutalisk playing Zerg player, that is ballsy.
It's usually the number 1 rule to not do in a base race.
Yeah, at least not if you don't have the cannons up. Parting is going into 14 cannons when he sees this. Flying is trying to build 5, but I'm not quite sure if they will be up in time. The Mutalisks are there, and yes, Flying can do a lot of damage, but you don't want to base race a Mutalisk player.
Yeah, it's the golden rule of base trading. Don't base trade against Mutas. Don't base trade against a Cloak, and he's going to take out these queens,
but not where they should have been. They should have been behind the Spine Crawlers trying to transfuse.
NesTea still has his base to the right side, and he still has the gas and the Spire to continue building Mutalisks. He's going in on these cannons, and there's way too few of them. I think NesTea has all the advantages here. Even though Flying has a very deadly army, he should be able to, with his very strong and mobile Ling Muta army, destroy Flying's buildings before Flying can destroy his own. He's already got extractors scattered across the map. The probe count for Flying down to 3.
NesTea is still a base at the right side, the center position of the map. And the thing is, the big problem here is just that we currently have so many Zerglings for NesTea that when this battle happens, he can tag the Stalkers with the Zerglings and then fly into the Mutalisk. If it was only the Stalkers versus the Mutalisk, Flying would be in a decent spot, but right now he's not even able to get the main base down.
Yeah, he's got a really good position with his Stalkers, but it's not going to be enough. This is buying more and more time for NesTea, who's going to literally eliminate him from the game. It's going to be a choice that Flying has to make. Is he going to type GG or is he going to watch them burn?
NesTea right now is still mining at the right side. This is something that Flying doesn't even know. He can always sneak a drone out and build an extractor somewhere.
Flying is revealed. He doesn't have enough resources. Well, he does enough resources, but I don't think he has any probes left. I actually lost my observer computer. This is a bug that's happening to us from time to time, but he's got 2 probes, and he can make a Nexus, but he won't be able to save it. If NesTea splits his units into 8 different locations, which he can easily do, this is not going to be a problem for him, and the Nexus is in the most predictable location. NesTea could actually just target it down.
He can't just snipe it, exactly.
He can fight at it.
Nothing else that he has to do. And the problem is that Flying just doesn't know about the space at the right side. So he thinks that NesTea doesn't have mining, but NesTea is completely happy here. Flying has no idea. This is the only reason why he's still in the game.
Yep. We can see Flying put down some assimilators if he wants to. The most bang for your buck as far as hit points go as a Pross in a base trade. Same goes for the Zerg, of course. And he's going to fight, but NesTea has way too much, I feel. Guardian Shield is important here.
But it doesn't matter.
There are
too many Zerglings on the ground that pressure the Stalkers. Here come the Mutalists.
Look at NesTea in the booth. He's relaxed. He knows this is over.
Yeah. This is his game. This is his second win in the up and downs. NesTea, he has done it. GG. Flying is on 0-3 right now. NesTea even taking down the last Nexus. He won this game with flying colors.
Yeah. And Flying he's not getting a Code S spot out of this group.
Not today.
He looked pretty decent in all of his games, but he was just not on the same level as his opponents. At all.
Yeah, today Flying not looking good, not quite sure what happened here to him, and maybe not the right preparation, maybe he doesn't feel, maybe he's a little bit under the weather today, we don't know, but the fact of the matter is that he didn't win a single one of his games so far. He is 0-3 in the group now. NesTea is on 2-1, we have Fantasy on 2-0, and our next game is going to be Terran vs Protoss, this time with Center up against Finale.
Map is going to be Daybreak, and
both of them on 1-1 now.
Exactly, they're both tied here. A few of our 1-1 players are kind of trying to edge out their victory, trying to get ahead. At this point, I don't know who I'd give the edge. I want to say Center, based on the play that we saw from Finale so far, but you can't count him out either.
Yep.
It's hard to call. It's really hard to call in this group.
It's going to be a tough one, that's for sure. Senna in the first game, he lost, then he won against Flying, but Flying is kind of morphing into this position of being the punching ball of the group. Not trying to be mean to him or anything, but so far he didn't really impress too much, and he was up against strong opponents, but the problem for him really is that he was not even able to win a single map just yet.
Well, his record speaks for itself, you know.
Yeah, so Sander's win so far was against the guy who is at the bottom of the rankings now. We have to find out how he's going to do against another opponent, against an opponent of the caliber of Finale. Finale with his win against Hawk. He lost at the hands of, I think, NesTea in the first game. No, sorry, it was at the hands of Fantasy.
Yeah, he lost to Fantasy earlier on, who's currently ahead.
Yeah, and Daybreak is going to be our next map. That's the map for Terran vs Protoss.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see what strats we're going to see. This is not a map where it's a Terran player has an advantage at the third base. It's not a map where we're going to see massive drop play. We will see maybe some if Center chooses for it. Map is loaded, ready, up. It's ready to go. We're going into it right now here at the GSL Up and Downs. I am Wolf with Mias Kaldor, who is going to take the lead. Let's find out.